Yes, I train my team, but I'm doing myself everything. Yeah. All right. Let's start with the beginning. I would like to say to you, I've been born in Moldova, a small country next to Romania, and I born to an Orthodox family. Orthodox family is something, if people don't know, is something like a Catholic, but in an East style, which they have a lot of traditions, saints, and all the stuff. I want to say to you, my mother was more religion than my father. My father was kind of more like an atheistic person until my mother passed away. And when I grow in this family, and especially in Romania, the concept about God, it was somebody who is looking at you and trying to punish for every mistake what you're doing. If something happens, something wrong in your life, it's God who is punishing. And this is was how I was growing in my family, and and my mother was the person who was more religious. She took us in the church. She trying to explain about in her concept about God, but it was an interesting thing because my mom, she was what I remember from her because she passed away when I was at age 12. And what I remember about her, especially the last time, always she said, "I will die soon, and you live it with your father." And uh, and I said, "No, mom, you're not dying. You're too young. How are you telling about these things?" And later on, after her death, I heard back home is a special kind of ladies. If you go into her, she can read in palm or in how you call it, in cards, yeah, and can tell your future. And she went to this kind of lady when she was a teenager. And they said at age 36, you will have a death penalty. Guess what? My mother passed away exactly at the 36 years old. But when I was a child, I wasn't quite good boy. Even when I look into my boys, I said, yeah, I'm not impressed. I was quite naughty. At one point, even I would start stealing things from the house, even money, buying sweets and all of the stuff. And when my mother passed away, I feel so guilty. I was thinking, God has punished me and took my mother. And this is was my battle inside of me. I said to you, I didn't know about the real God. I just knew I heard about the God in the culture which I was living at that time. And on top of that, when I heard my mother knew her death, it was shocking me. And this feeling has been calm. And with when I started growing up, I had a little bit of fear of God. At one point, when I becoming a little bit much younger, about 8, 15, 16, I start looking things differently. At that age, I found a girl in my life, which I met her in in her village. I went to see her house cousin, and her cousin has been introduced her, and this is when the story started. It was something like I felt so in love with her. I was thinking this is my love of my life. Imagine I was about 60 or 70, something like that. This is the age which I'm talking about. And she was about a year younger than myself, or 8 weeks younger than myself. And and we had dating, we meet it, and but the thing is, I want to say to you, especially with the young people, the people who you go in every day will influence your life. will try to dictate to you, and you're trying to copying them what they do. This is why I'm trying to introduce you everything what has been passed. And the life, my life contains a lot of things which I cannot say I was saying. No, I wasn't. I want to tell you exactly how I'll try to cover because we have children and I'll try to cover some things, but I will try to lie to you. My life wasn't only a meal. I went through a lot of experience in my life at a young age. At age 17, 60, 17, this is when I started knowing my wife, and at the same time I started to, sorry, I said something, no, that girl, sorry, that girl, I started knowing that girl, uh, and, uh, and, uh, and that time I started going together with some friends, which we start drinking, using drugs, not strong drugs, but cannabis, which is enough for your mind to kill you. But basically, my life was splitting into nights with friends, days with my girlfriend. And every time when I spent the time with my friends, every time they was prouding themselves, what they're doing, what kind of relationship they have with other girls, I didn't do anything about that. And I was curious, how would we? And every time when I was meeting with my girlfriend, I always been insisted, I want to go to the next stage. Want to go to the next stage. And when we was approaching about year of dating, I said, you know what? Either we going to the next stage, or either we broken up. Because we nearly a year. I said, no, I want to be a virgin until I'm married. I said, I'm promising I will. As soon as we reach 18, we're going to marry, officially marry. And she said to me, I accept to do these things with one condition. If both of us, before we committing that act, will swear in front of God. This is why I told you about God. The God which I knew is a God who is punishing you. And I had a bit of fear, this kind of fear about God. And said, yeah, I know I love you, I want to swear at you, with you. And we done this, we swear one to another, and relationship was looking like it's going smoothly until one point because imagine you going in the same with the same friends and they have more groups, they speak training more experience, you are more curious, you consuming more alcohol, more, and they say no, my life should not stop for one girl. But what I'm doing, because I swear in front of God. And I've been trying to convince my girlfriend, I think it's time to give up. I said, yeah, but I love you. We swear on one to another to break down. And basically, these things happen until I decided myself to move to Romania. Romania is not far from Moldova. It's about, let's say, about in 2 3 hours. It depends which side you are. But from the place where I am, it's about 3 hours drive. And when I decided to move to Romania, this is when I break that relationship with that girl. And and uh, and I asked my sister, more special, to not give my contacts, my new contacts from Romania. And in Romania, I went because my father started business over there, and I went to help him. My target was from Romania to sort out my paperwork and fly in Germany or France and starting my own life. Because I said, oh, this is not a life. I would like to spend my own time. I was thinking I'm smart. And when I went over there, my father has introduced me in his business, about his employers. We starting musical instruments to sell, and my my initiative wasn't to help my father, but when I saw to his employers, how they trying to corrupt my father, and the way how they stealing the money from the business and all this stuff. Because I went over there and I was pretending I'm not interested about my father's business. And I have been observed everything what we done with my father. I was feeling sorry, but I said, no, this is not the time to take over. And I remember one of the point, I was setting an argument with my father because, this is the life. Sons with father have an argument because they think they are smarter than their own parents. And the parents said, no, you're not grow up enough to give you a lesson. After having an argument, I decided to go back to Moldova and not to return to my father, to start my own life and after to do whatever I want. When I went to my father, when I went back home, in that week, I found out a couple of my friends, they want to go to Moscow. And I said, oh, I'd like to go with you as well. I said, yeah, but we already arranged it. I said, give us a week until we arriving over there, and we will take you as well. I said to them, okay, it's fine. I'm happy to wait. For me, it's not urgent because I have plenty of time. They went to Moscow because I've been say goodbye and everything, and I went home to my grandmother and my grandfather, and I told them the news. I said, no, look, two of my friends went to Moscow, but I'm looking to go with them. They told to my father, and my father about that news started becoming sick. And I remember one day when I came from town, I saw my grandmother and grandfather, first time in my life, crying and begging me to return back to my father and give up about my journey to Moscow. And because I saw why that I was touched so deeply, and I went because they was asking. After a few months, I found out both friends has been arrested in Moscow. Imagine when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about age 18, 19, yeah? At age 18, 19, been arrested 9 years in Moscow prison, which is the worst prison in the world, most of the world prison in the world. Probably at that time I didn't realize, but now I realize how God has protected myself to not go at that time. Because definitely, if I went with them after a week or two, whatever they called me, because they tried to call me, but I wasn't anymore there, I was in Romania. Definitely I went with them. And the accusation was, they was found with drugs on them. Something what was common in our groups. And I thank God because He intervened through my grandmother and my grandfather at that time, and has been saved me through that dangerous at that time. But my story has been continued with my father. I started helping him in a business. I started integrating more after that event. I said I have only one parent alive because my mother passed away. I said to you at age 30. I said I have my one parent. I see this employer taking advantage about him. I said I'll stay and help him. And I started helping. I started growing his business so well. Just few years after, when he saw everything starting rosy and the relationship starting going so well with our suppliers, he came and said, no, from now on, I'm the boss of this firm, and you do whatever I said. I said, well, why don't you leave me to do it? Because I done it so well. And why don't, I said, I don't know what was happening in his mind. And we're starting on. I remember the last year when I spent with my father, it was a nightmare. Every week, argument. Even at one point, we started to fight. I was 21 years when my father was 40 something. And I decided to go. I said to my father, Father, I'll give you 1 month notice. I'm going to England. I said, why going to England? Who you know in England? I said, I don't know anyone. I'm going to England. I give up to fight with you, to have an argument with you. I'm going to England. I forgot to mention you When I renounced about that girlfriend, in my mind, it was already agreed God doesn't exist. Because all of the friends which I had, and even the school, has influenced my mind. God doesn't exist. And if God doesn't exist, that means the commitment between me and that girl wasn't exist as well. And was the main reason why I denied the God. Now is the time to fly in UK. Yeah? I remember the day when we say goodbye. I remember that day when I said goodbye to my father. My father was outside of the bus. I was inside of the bus. Both of us crying. And I took my journey to come in this country, which I didn't know any English. Apart of hello and goodbye, I didn't know anything. In the meantime, my father found somebody who could meet me and help me to find a place to rent. I didn't know nothing about this guy. He didn't know nothing about me. He just helped me with that kind of things, left me, and go. In Romania, when I was in Romania for that period, I managed to make another girlfriend. I've been with her 3 years, and I didn't. From the very beginning, I wasn't thinking it would be any serious. We just spent some time, but because we started using together, she had some problems in her family as well with her mother, and basically, my journeys to England, it was determined to go for both of us. I was supposed to go first, and she's supposed to come. I came in England, and I started looking for work. I started looking for everything. And at one point, I found something a good job, where basically I was supposed to take care about in a warehouse. There was a Russian products came over there. They give us a meal a day. It was very good salary as well, not far from the place where I was living. But when I came in England, I put myself in my mind, I want to give up smoking and I want to give up drinking because I want to save money. And my girlfriend, which I had it at that time, I suppose she's supposed to come and stay with me. Uh, I, and another thing is, when I came in England, that that person who helped me to find a place where to live, he said, "Okay, let's go to Asda and let's find some duvets. Yeah, let's find some duvets." When I went over there, I went and occasionally we met a person who knows the person who helped me. And said, "Oh, this is Dima, this is Arthur. Okay, I need to go," and he left me with that person to help me to find something. Imagine, I'm coming in England, I don't know anything. What is about nothing? It's my own. No my father, no anyone. No friends, just your own self. And that friend was, that person was with his family. And he said, "Arthur, he said, let us help to buy this stuff. In the meantime, I would like you to invite in our house to have a meal." And I said, "Okay, if you want it." I was a little bit hungry because I didn't eat for a while. I went to them table and they started talking about God. They started talking about, and I saw the children praying with them. But my mind at that time wasn't about God. In the end, because I was polite, I just listened. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to contradict it. Because I was thinking probably I could help me with the job as well. I just politely been silencing. I didn't want to have any debates with them. At the end of the conversation, at the end of that meal, they give me a Bible, so if you need anything, you can call me. That family basically, it was just about a year or two being baptized to a Pentecostal church. They was worshiping to a charisma church. Even they didn't know what kind of denomination they are, because they was joining with everything, evangelisting. They didn't know what they are. They said, we are Christians. I took the Bible because not because I was interested in the Bible. I took it, and when I came in England, I was starting. When I had the free time, I started looking into the Bible, and I start basically reading to see what is about the Bible. Everyone is talking about Bible, Bible, Bible. What is about the Bible? And I found in that Bible was kind of interesting story. I said, oh, it's quite interesting. I was a little bit interested about history, but I couldn't find anything attracted me. That one is a holy word. It was just an interesting book to read about history of a nation, which is coming from Adam and Eve, and all of the story, in the Bible, what say. Before that warehouse, I had a job which I supposed to put leaflets. To do leaflet job is a quite challenging job. When I came in this country, I had about 90 kilograms, over 90 kilograms. When I was working with my father, most of the time I was sitting down in the office. I never walked so much. After 1 week, my foot was painful. And in my mind, I prayed, said, God, please, if you are exist, please help me with my work situation. And just a few days after, a guy came and said, oh, I found this job for you. And I told you about this warehouse job where I was over there. I was so happy because I found a permanent job. I could take a different place. I can bring my girlfriend who is waiting me in Romania. And the job, how you call it? The thing didn't work how I was planning. In one morning, when I was speaking with my girlfriend, I said to her, look, I found a job. Now I'm better stable. Soon I will find a place and we can come together. I said, I don't think I'm coming back. I'm coming there. I said, why? Because I don't want to come anymore. I said, what is the reason? And she switched off my phone. And after she texted me and said to me, I found somebody better than yourself. I didn't love her, but I started to used to. I started feeling like was kind of things where I don't know what to say, but I don't think that one was a love. But that response has affected me so much. In my mind, it was a battle. I lost my mother when I was 12. When I was trying to help my father, he said, you're not capable, you're not good for nothing. I could not have a good relationship with my father. When I started to put my life in order with that girl, because we was looking to marry this girl, she found another guy, left me when I was struggling to find for both of us a place. In that time, I said in my mind, from now on, everything what I will do, I will drink and drug myself. I don't care about what is happening in my life. And I remember one day when I was drunk, I was in the room, the Bible was sitting there. I took the Bible and I throw it in one corner and I shout to God, said, I never believe in you, but if you are exist, I want to say to you, I don't need you anymore. You destroy my life. I've been trying to put my life in order, and you destroy my life. And was day when I don't know if you know London, but it's a bridge in Leighton, when I was thinking many times to jump over the bridge. Because I was thinking, why I should live in this world? But in my mind, at that time came my grandmother, who was like my mother for me, and my sisters. And this is the reason why it hasn't pulled me down to not go any more further. Until one point when, with some people where I was staying, because I said to you in Nathan, I was staying with different nations from a different part of East Europe. And with two of the guys, we drunk in the house, and I said, okay, let's go to the club. And we went to a local club over there, not far from us. And in the morning, when I was looking into the mirror, I had some bruise. And in my mind, it was just few images, because I cannot remember what was happening that night, because I was so drunk. But that image was two guys pushing me into a car. And I lifted up the head and I said, God, please help me. I promise I will change myself. And in that moment, sorry, I know we have some black black people here, but at that time I was hating anything what was outside of one. Gypsies, black, everything was against the parents. And guess what? God sent me a black person. Said, leave him. He's with me. I never met that person. And I remember in my mind, I remember I was thanks him, said, thank you, my friend, you saved my life. Thank you, my friend, you saved my life. And this is the image which I found. That I want to say that from that point, I love everyone. I know God has everything is the same. Doesn't matter what color you are, what nation you are the same. The racist is not God. How we call it? Is Satan who is behind all of this. But I want to say to you, this is how God works. To show you all the people is the same. And but I cannot have a clear image. Okay, I have this my image in my head. I have bruises. What was happening? I went to that friends. I don't know what was happening. And I went to the friends and asked what was happening that night. Why I have bruise on my head? We went to disco. We started dancing, and by mistake you touch one of the guys. And he punched you and you fall down. I came to fight with him. I fight with him, the security take us off. I will start looking for you and I could not find you. And I went home. And when I put the image together, that one was his friends, and they was looking to find where are that friend. And probably they trying to beat me until they found it. I don't know what was happening. But I knew my life was in danger. And when I put all this image together, and when I saw what God has responded, just few days before, I said, I don't need you. And he came to help me. And when I was in my room, I was sitting, thinking, what is happening? And just suddenly, like somebody has been cut my knees. And I fell in my knees. And all of my life started appearing in front of my eyes. I was crying. I never prayed in my life. I never prayed. With my eyes swollen, I said only forgiving. And after that, I don't remember. Because I didn't count, I didn't look about the clock. I don't know how much time I did it. But I want to say to you, after when I come out from that moment. Before that, I was thinking I have lots of luggages in my shoulder. I feel so released. I feel so empty. And this is the moment when I start my journey with God. I didn't have a religion. I knew I found God. I didn't care. I didn't care how many times I'm going to church or not. But what I care, I found God. And guess what? That moment, the Bible was my pillow. I read in that year, the first year, twice the Bible. I was sleeping with the Bible, and I was awakened with the Bible. If I have a spare time, even on my breaks, I have my Bible with me. And I was ashamed now because I'm not doing that anymore. But was my first love. It's more things to say, the journeys about with God. But that moment, I recognize God exists. And what I start doing, I start calling people, asking forgiveness. I start going to churches. I went to Romanian churches. I went to Russian churches because I could understand Russian as well. But always for me was a confusion. Why are so many denominations? And everyone said I'm right. And when you're starting searching, they have kind of pretty much same thing. Everyone talking about Christ's salvation, and there's only a few things between them which make them separate. Jehovah's Witness said we are the right. Even my uncle was at that time came, I don't know how it was, came and said, "Oh, you're wrong. You need to come to our church, and then we need to learn you." I said, "Yeah, but I found God. This one said to him, he said, if I found God, I can ask Him to help me. Why I need to go to a church to help me to find about Him? Because I already found Him." But in them theory, it's not existing like that. You cannot have your own experience. It's madness. It's Satan working. See how Satan has helped me to renounce about drugs, alcohol, smoking, and all other habits which I had in the past. Satan can go against the Satan. And in my mind was a confusion. I said, what is the real true church? In my first year of searching, I prayed for God to reveal me about the church. And just in one night, I had a dream. That dream was about myself and a younger boy who started walking. And we saw a big crowd dressing in the work gears, different students, doctors, constructions, and everything, and starting blaming a small crowd which going to a church. And in my dream, I said, why are you shouting to them? Why you doing this? Oh, this is worse. This is not good what we're doing. I said, but who are them? There's something between Jehovah's Witness and Baptist. And for my curiosity in that dream, I went inside and the door was closed. And I wake up. I didn't know what is about that dream. I still continue to go to my other churches, which I said to you. I went to Pentecostal church, I went to Baptist church, I went to Evangel. Wherever they said we have a program, I went. I didn't be baptized. I just heard my repentance, just waiting for the day when God will confirm me. After a year, after a year after that dream, I came back from Romania. I said, okay, I want to work something all right. I said, it's not enough only going to churches. And I started researching and I found Romanian Hope Channel. Yeah. And I started listening about that. But imagine, I started having been a little bit influenced by the Sunday churches about. And I started listening. I said, oh, these people are good. I like how they're speaking. I never been in contact with these people. I never know about their existence. But I wasn't agree about Sabbath. I wasn't agree about life, no life after death, and some other principles about diary. I wasn't agree. But I'm interested about this church to see what is about it. And I went. No, I was interested about diary because just few weeks before that, I started becoming a vegetarian. I was watching. I didn't know that doctor is is Seventh-day Adventist. He's a Romanian, famous Romanian doctor, nutritionist, Stroiescu. And the way how he's presented, you thinking, oh, he's great. And I watch his videos about the healthy diet and everything. I was quite heavy meter eating. I said, I cannot do. So God is very interesting about what he said, but I cannot do that thing. And one day I was starting feeling sick, and the sickness started continue. And in my mind I said, oh, let me try what this doctor said, to become a vegetarian for 6 months. And after becoming. When I become a vegetarian, I start feeling much better. And since then, I'm a vegetarian. Yeah, coming back to the story when I started finding the Hope Channel, I said, but I want to find a church. I said, I want to find a church, I want to see, and I started doing research. I found the Romanian church in West London. They had at that time only one church in West London. And I went on a Friday, because they had it Friday evenings as well. I went to the Friday evenings, I listened to the sermon, it was nice sermon, but I didn't like the people. People started talking about sex. People start talking about other naughty things. Like I was thinking I'm with the people from the world. But one of the elder said to me, which is a good friend of mine as well now, Romika Timofte, if you know him, has suggested me to come next morning because they have a better service. And I went in the morning. I like the Sabbath school. I like the things always debated and everything. I saw people who was good in Bible studies and everything. But my mind as well, I found more people who was ungodly in our church. Which in other churches, I could not find. Most of the people was wanted to pray, wanted to help, or wanted like this. And I went in that evening, and I saw that, and in my mind, when I went back home, because it was about hour and something the journey with the trains. In my mind was I'm not returning back to this church. It's not. It's interesting. I like how they're speaking, but the way how they're living, I don't want to return back. This is what my mind. This is what's in my mind. And after when I come out from the train, and I had about 5 minutes walk. Guess what? That dream, which I dreamed 1 year ago, started revealing. And the clue for that as well. The big crowd in my dream was with people who was working in Sabbath. This is why they was dressing in that. And the big, small crowd which they went in the church was Adventists who are going to worship. And this is why they blame. And if you look into the history, we are between Baptists and Jehovah's Witnesses. And if you look into our theology, we have a lot of influence in between these two churches. We like to study by Jehovah's Witnesses, and we like to help people like Baptists. This is why we have a lot of things in common. And in that point, I decided this is the God Church. I want to say to you, if it wasn't God intervention, probably today you will not see me today in our churches. I'm talking here 2009. After that, I went to the pastor and I said, I want to be baptized. And they've been baptizing me without the Bible study. Imagine, I become a Seventh-day Adventist without the Bible study. And guess where I was baptized? In a camp meeting. In my mind, when I spoke with my friends from other religions, I said, if I want to be baptized, I want to be baptized in a small bath. Just few people. When I was baptized, it was 4,000 people. When I looked to that crowd, I couldn't believe myself. This is why I said to you, how God has conducted the way. Starting take my fear away. All the things which has been implemented from my father and my mother and from all of the friends which have been started. It's a process. I don't want to say to you, these things can happen like this. It's a process with God that's trying to convince you. I think I told you many times, if God asked me, even at that time when I came in Folkestone, if He asked me to come and preach and teach and lead an English church, I was refusing. But God has used a different methods for me to come here as well. Because God knows how much you can do. And take you slowly and bring you to the level where He wanted. This is why you need to live by God. This is when He said. I don't know if you want to hear more, but relating on this story is what was happening with a girlfriend which I left it. I don't know if you want to hear it, probably another 10 minutes. Huh? You want to hear it? Okay. In 2009, I've been baptized, yeah. But in 2000, basically end of 2007 and beginning of 2008, this is when was my conversion when I found God. I was looking for everyone to give forgiveness, but the biggest forgiveness which I was looking to give, it was for that girlfriend which I left it there, and she was searching for me. She was searching many years for me because my sister said, and every time she refusing to give up. And everyone gone to their own lives, you know. Everyone cannot wait for the last. And I went and I called my sister and I said, please, if you find her, tell her I'm looking to speak with her. Guess what? After a month, she just bypassed my flats. Her voice said, you need to go inside. It's the first time when I met her, but you know, when you have a conversion with God, you feel differently. When you met with that person, it was a different person, you know, I know. It was 7 years this past. The way how she was speaking, the way how she acted. I spoke with her, I asked my forgiveness. I said, we can be friends. I said, my intention is not to take the relationship back. I said, if you need my help, you can call me, this is my number. And we was talking. In the meantime, I was thinking of another girl to take to take a relationship seriously, but the thing didn't work well because she said, I don't want to come in England. I said, I can't come back home. And, and the relationship has been finished. But with that girlfriend, which I said to you, I've been kind of interacted. Many times she called me when she was in pain, when she had some suffering. And at one point, after when I decided myself, from now on, I'm looking probably to go to do evangelism, just to renounce about marriages and just to go and do evangelism. Uh, she called me and she was very upset. She was sick at that time, and I said, okay, I cannot visit you. She was in Moscow at that time with her mother, and her mother is supposed to work and she's supposed to be in hospital. I call her not every day, but regularly, at least once, twice a week. Spoke with her. Until I didn't know why I'm talking with her. And always I've been trying to encourage from the Bible. Said you need to know God. You need to know God. I said, oh, somebody give me some books, some religious books I'm reading here, the Bible. And one day when I was sitting and waiting the train, I don't remember now the verse, but the Bible verses came. It was from Isaiah, but I don't remember exactly where it is. Or no, Jeremiah. I don't remember which chapter and that. Which said, don't forget about the first love. I didn't know what this meant. Basically, my mind said, go to Jeremiah chapter that and that, and when I was reading it. And when I put together, I said, you know what? I'm married. Because the marriage is just a commitment between you and the father, just you and wife. I know other people as well. When you look into the Old Testament, the marriage was simple. And when I spoke in that evening with that girl, I said to her, you know what is the reason why we're talking now? She said, no. I said, do you remember the commitment? What we done it in that night? She said, what commitment? She forgot. Like I remember, and even I remember the dress, what she was in that day. And I said, you know, me and you, we didn't fulfill the commitment. But it's God who keep his promise. Because when you went, when you asked me to do that, you had trust in God will help in this situation. Today is my wife. Yeah, it's Mariana.
Amen.
Yes. And guess what? After 1 year, she's been baptized in the same place where I was baptized.
Amen.
I didn't plan it. She came in UK. I went to the pastor, said she wanted to be baptized. She started having some Bible study back home, back church. When I spoke with that pastor, said after we would like to baptize, but it's not point if she's coming in UK with you. I said we want to marry. I told the story. Said we want to marry, but she need to be baptized. I said, oh, but come meeting is coming soon. I can arrange her to be baptized. Even if I've been trying to plan myself to be baptized and come meeting and she be baptized enough. Both of us we've been publishing the messenger as well. Not about the story. No one doesn't know about the story. But we've been published, we've been baptized at that time. Myself in 2009, she in 2010. Just a year between. We have a lot of experience to say. But what to say to you today? Probably my English is not so well, yeah? I have a lot of difficulty. But you need to understand, God is real. If today trying somebody to convince me God does not exist, I cannot say no. Probably when I was young, you could fool me. With the technology, with all the scientists, you could fool me. But now I cannot say. Even probably I'm not the same, yeah. I'm still continuing, I'm doing a lot of mistakes. I have my own problems. But I cannot accept God does not exist. And this is why, if you didn't, I don't know, God is working different way. I don't, even today we were speaking about Psalms and everything. God can work at your life. I don't know why it's supposed to work in this way with me. I don't know, even, and if sometimes if I'm feeling, if I have kind of a pressure in my hand, always I remember how God has been saving me in that situation. And not only that, after that I had a very strong relationship with my God. But I know sometimes because I'm doing so many wrong decisions, I'm just embarrassed to return back to my friend to help. Not because I deny him, because I'm just feeling upset myself about the choice to go. But God is love. Imagine somebody swearing a few days before and after asking you to help him. How you will say, go away. God who is not like a man doesn't take in consideration what you've done. God is helping us. If God didn't help me in that day, probably I would still continue being a drug addicted or I've been killed in that night. I don't know. Because I've done the wrong choices in my life. I said to you, I could be probably in the prison in Moscow if he didn't intervene through my grandmother. But what I want to say to you, rely on God. He will help you. And if you are young, don't feel you are too young to accept God now. Because the journey, if you started now, you will avoid a lot of problems in your life. The reason why I'm regretting now, I'm regretting because I didn't do God when I was much younger. Even on 22 years old, 23, how much I was, people start laughing about me when they found out I'm religious. Because this I said to you, in my break time, I will start reading the Bible, and all of the colleagues was looking to me saying, ha ha ha, why are you reading the Bible? How old you are? 23. I said, why you leave the Bible? Go and party, go clubs, go other things. Live your life. And when you're 60, this is what you're thinking about. No. No. Don't think you're too young or you're too old. God wants you now. May God help you to understand He's real. It's not a story what you're reading in the Bible. Yeah. Yes, nice stories, very nice stories. But if you don't have faith, this story is nothing. It's just a simple stories. The faith is a God who can do these things. This can save you. You need to ask and experience like Abraham, like Moses, like David. Sometimes I'm looking at myself, I'm like a David, doing some wrong decision, and after I have consequences in my life. Sometimes even I'm looking at myself, I'm like Moses. I always find it a reason why I should not do X, Y, Z things. And God said, no, I can give you Aaron to help. You just go. You can identify yourself in these characters in the Bible. Because you can see God, how it works in their lives, what is in your life the same. Probably not identically than life copying in your life. But some parts of their life isn't there. May God help you to understand. Amen.